Hello there, Ray here, and what you see behind me is the perfect Shulker shell farm. This thing is so simple, yet it is completely automatic, meaning that you can get unlimited amounts of shells, even if there's no players online, as it runs 24/7 inside of spawn chunks. Pretty much everything you see here is just what the farm contains. There's very little redstone, just a little bit here with some observers, and a little bit here with these repeaters. Other than that, it is quite simple to build up, and even the nether side, which is a killing system, has almost nothing to show at all. Despite it being so simple and easy to build up, this can produce around 170 Shulker shells per hour, making it over 4 times as fast as my previous super simple Shulker shell farm. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well as have that bell notification turned on, as I've invented thousands of new types of farms, and I've almost designed a farm for every single item in the game Minecraft. You can check out the full progress of all that on this document linked down below. Now this farm is a combination of 2 past farms, as I've designed around 20 different unique types of Shulker shell farms. This combines my nether portal Shulker shell farm with my Agro ring Shulker shell farm, and by combining these it makes a really simple yet effective farm. If you'd like to know how Shulker shell farms are possible and all the crazy designs I went through throughout the 10 months that I've been working on these, make sure you check out this previous Shulker shell farm that covers the entire history, which I'll have down below. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the like button, as I put in over 500 hours in designing these farms. And it's all done live on my Twitch stream, where you can see exactly how I come up with these crazy ideas and then what steps I take to make them into these amazing contraptions. Now in 1.17, it's possible to get unlimited amounts of Shulker shells, and you can do this without repetitively going to the end sea to grab shells. Shulker shells are nice because with 2 shells and a chest, you can make a Shulker box. This lets you carry tons of more items. You can put Shulker boxes inside your ender chest to be way more efficient and organized. But in 1 hour, this farm can produce this many Shulker boxes plus all of this. You'll have plenty of these even for a large server. So the only thing you'll have to worry about is getting a bunch of chests in order to make the Shulker boxes, in which case you can use my infinitely automatic wood farm, which is just like this, where it can run 24/7 in spawn chunks without any players online. I'll have that link in the description. I will be showing you guys how to build this up and explaining a little bit how it works. As always with these tutorials, make sure to watch the entire thing before you start building it, and you can always pause the video if you need to look at anything or check out the world download for more details. As always, if I make any changes to the farm or improvements, I'll add those in the description. Now if you need any help with this farm, make sure you check out the world download, because I made sure that everything is working properly here. You're playing on a server, it's probably modded, so be sure to ask your admins if anything is not acting the same way as it does in my world. If your server has mods that change the way nether portals work, I'd recommend using my water-based one, which can be built up in the end dimension, where this one has to be built up in the overworld. If you have any further help that you need with the farm or questions, you guys can always hop into my Discord, linked in the description, which has a help channel for anything Minecraft related. There's tons of other amazing things on my Discord, so make sure you guys join it. This farm uses the same kind of setup as my previous one, and that one is extremely stable, and I even uploaded an unlisted video of running the farm for 1,000 hours, which I'll put down in the description so you can check it out. So if you're having problems with the farm, it's most likely a modded server, or you did something incorrectly. I will also be showing a design that is several of these cells all in one, so make sure to look forward to that. Now this farm is designed for the Java edition, as Bedrock currently doesn't have the Shulker splitting mechanics, but when it does, similar concepts that I've shown can be used there as well. This farm is so simple, it takes about 30 minutes to build up the entire thing. You can even use lava casting to place in the majority of these blocks. So the first thing that we need to do is figure out where we want to build in the farm. I recommend building it in your spawn chunks. You can also build it at your base. The advantages of building it in spawn chunks is you don't have to worry about it unloading as much. An easy way to find your spawn chunks is just by dropping in sand or gravel into the exit end portal. And then when you go back to spawn, this will show you where the world spawn point is. So you can build the farm in any chunk, 8 chunks out from this location. If you do F3 plus G, these chunks borders will pop up, and then you can use these to count outward from the center. You also want to make sure not to build this farm in river biomes or ocean biomes because of the fish or the drowns. You also want to make sure to build this farm in a biome that is not a hot biome, because that will kill the snow golem. Snow like Badlands, desert, savanna, and also build this kind of far away so people don't mess with the farm, and so phantoms won't spawn near it, and hostile mobs will also be able to instantly despawn, which I'll explain the reason for later on. I would recommend building this at least 150 blocks above the world, or higher, especially if you have something on the nether ceiling near your spawn chunks. So just to be safe, we're going to go all the way up almost to the top of the world. So I went ahead and stacked all the way up to Y level 208. And we're going to try to build this entire farm within one chunk. So I got the borders showing here. And we're going to start by facing north, and we're going to be in this corner right here. So this is the southwest corner, and we're going to start by placing in some blocks of any type, starting with a 2-block gap from the edge of the chunk. And we're going to take this across the entire thing. So it's going to be coming up to the border, and then we're going to go past it just like that with 1 extra block. Next, we're going to lay out the obsidian, and that's going to be 1 block lower than this stone here. It's going to start right here, and it's going to go the full distance just like the stone. So just like this. Now we're going to repeat this pattern. So we're going to have stone going across right here, and then we're going to have obsidian right here going across, and we're going to do this a total of 5 of these. So this is what it looks like. We got 1 set, 2 set, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be the very bottom of the farm. It's also going to give you an easy layout to build the rest of it. Now what you want to do for each of these stone pieces right here, you can use whatever block type you want to. That is a full cube type of block. I'm going to use andesite just so you can easily distinguish the different blocks. But what you want to do is go up 16 blocks on top of that one. And you can do this easily in survival just by putting just 16 in a stack, and then just keep stacking up with them until you run out, and then you'll be exactly where you need to be. Do this for this entire wall, so it's going to end up being a 17 by 17 wall of blocks. So now it looks like this, big huge wall. And now you do this for each one of these marked out stone areas. So you're going to have a total of 5 of these walls that are 17 by 17. So now it looks like this. We got 5 huge walls that are 17 by 17 in between the obsidian. The next thing to do is we're going to make these obsidian bottoms into nether portals. And we're going to do that by adding in a temporary block right there. And then we're going to take this all the way up so that's the same height as the walls. So just like that. And then we're going to place in another temporary block right there. And we can take those back out. And then we're going to take this obsidian all the way across to the opposite side, making it the same length as these walls. And then we're also going to take up this side, finishing off the nether portal. So this build is going to take 350 obsidian blocks. If you're wondering how to easily get these, you can use my zombie piglin gold and bartering farm. You get tons of it, plus many more amazing resources. I'll have that link down below. So we can go ahead and do this to the rest of the 4 of these obsidian. So all the portals are in, and this is what it looks like now. So now you have the majority of it done. The big flat areas are giving places for the shulkers to teleport to, and the portals are giving a place for them to touch the portal blocks and be sent over into the nether dimension. So they're not being checked by the center shulker, and they can produce more of them. So now we're going to go to the middle part of it. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Third one here is the middle. And then this one, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom of this portal here. So the middle portal. And we're going to place in a block in the very center. So we're going to count out 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the 9th block right here, we're going to have obsidian. And then this is going to go up 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the 9th block we're going to take across the entire thing. So we're dividing this up into equal portions. 8 blocks above and 8 blocks below. And this is going to be the very center right here. So the shulker is going to occupy that block right there. And we're going to have glass above it. We're also going to have 2 right here. 2 underneath of there. And 1 here. So it makes a little air pocket in there. And then we're also going to have glass right there and We're going to put a string right on top of that, and then we're going to place in glass there, and this is where the shulker is going to go. So for now, we're going to keep it kind of unfinished until we can actually get the shulker in there. Now where the string is, it goes out towards this block here, and we're going to have an observer reading that string pointing outwards. And we can also remove these blocks because we're going to replace them with some observers. All of these. And this one we're going to add in observers going all the way down so that they're level with the blocks over here. And then we're going to go down one more. Now to do this in survival, you can place in some water and float in underneath of it to place in these last ones. Then from there we're going to go this direction, and then we're going to take these all the way up to right here. So it's going to look like this. And if we want to, we can replace this block right here so we can see that's where the shulker is going to be. I'm just going to mark it. So right there will be the shulker. Now one block under this observer, we're going to have one going out from it. Then we're going to have them going downwards all the way until there is just one block between them and the nothingness underneath. That's a total of 5 observers pointing downwards. Then we're going to have one pointing over. Then we're going to have them go all the way back upwards again up to here, and then we're going to remove this block and have them turn in like that. And then we can fill in this block right here. So what's going to go right here is a dispenser. So from this side we can place in the dispenser right there, and it's going to be sitting just like so. We'll come back and place in the lava bucket. Now we can close that back up again. All these observers pointing to this dispenser is used so that bullets will only travel to the shulker when he's open, and that way he can split. Any extra bullets will be removed with the system, so his health doesn't get too low and teleport away. Now what we want to do is place in buttons around the glass so the shulkers don't snap to the sides of the glass rather than snapping to the sides of these blocks. The buttons are going to go on all of the sides, and we'll even put some over here when we're done putting the shulker into its place. But we do need to place in one on the far side over there. That way shulkers don't teleport into this little chamber. The center glass piece here is going to contain the shulker that's going to be splitting. This is going to be the one that's going to be sending a bullet out and hitting itself with it. So with that centerpiece completed, all we have to do now is build the aggroing system, which is going to be just over here. So we want to find the center between these two sides and take this across all the way to here. And this is on the west side. This is where we're going to put in the only redstone that's in this entire contraption. So what we want to do is place in a slab, the top slab, and we're going to go from the center to that direction, and then we're going to also go to this direction. We're going to place a redstone here, and we'll place full repeaters there and there, a full block here, and another full repeater right here. We're going to place another full block just on this side, and redstone here and here. We're then going to place in a sticky piston right there, and a trapdoor just like this, facing this direction. So it opens up, it looks just like this. We're then going to place a lever right here. This is going to be the on and off switch for the entire machine. We're then going to place a block down here, and we're going to place a torch on top of that, then a block on top of that, and then another redstone torch over here with a block on top of that. You could also put the redstone torches here as well as have a block above that one and have the torch on this side. That way you save this space right here for another location for shulkers to teleport to. We're then going to place a pressure plate on that lower block. Now I'm using glass just so you can kind of see the shulker once it's in place, but we're going to place 2 on that side, place 1 on this side, and we're also going to have 2 on that side there, and 1 right here. Then we're going to top it off, right, just like that. Then we're going to have 2 glass on that side and 2 on this side, and then we're going to top this one off as well. Then we're going to come over here and place in a block there, as well as here, and we're going to place 1 on that side too. We'll have a chest on this side, and we'll have a wall on that side. Make sure you use a normal chest here, otherwise this redstone wire is going to point into it. Then right here at this level we're going to place in soul sand, and then we come in with a wall on this side, and another chest on this side. You can remove that block right there. Then we can place walls on all 4 of these going up 12 blocks. So now it looks like this. Now here at the top, we can come in and place in 3 walls on that side. And then we're going to place an extra wall here and one over here. Then we're going to place a banner on that side. We're then going to place in a temporary block there and some water flowing from there all the way downwards. And then we come down on top of the soul sand, place in a kelp and bone meal it all the way up to the top, then just break it. That will make all those water sources. We now have a bubble column here. We're going to use this to move the snow golem up and down to aggro and de-aggro the shulkers. Now down here we can switch out this wall with a banner, and then we can place in a wall here as well as right there. And we place in a wall here, and then we're going to take this wall column all the way up to the same height as these ones up here. Then we're going to add on 6 more walls. Now because the snow golem is here in overworld, it can rain and rain will kill a golem. So what we're going to do is we're going to place in 2 blocks here, and then we're going to place in some slabs because the golem's going to be right here. And we'll place another one right there. That way he is protected from any rain from hitting him. Now coming back down here to the bottom, we're going to place in a trapdoor just like that, and we're going to open it. Now over here, we're going to place in another block right there. So now we're completed with the majority of the aggroing system. This consists of this glass part, which we're going to have the shulker who gets aggroed by a snow golem. A snow golem is going to be on this side where we have the deep slate walls. And he's going to move up and down. And we got a little bit of redstone here just for timing. We'll finish this part up once we get the shulker into this location here. So now to get the snow golem in, we're going to place in a couple blocks here. We're going to place in rails just like this. We're going to then place in snow above both of these. And then we're going to get ready to summon in the snow golem by placing in a pumpkin. And then right afterwards, we're going to place in a minecart on this rail right here. Or you can place in the minecart ahead of time. Place that guy in, and once he bumps the minecart and be immediately picked up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move him over in by those chests right there. Just want to make sure he doesn't fall off this side over here. And we'll just scoot him over there. So now we're going to push him up against this trapdoor. So we got him sword lined in, so push him to trapdoor. And then once he's against the trapdoor, we're going to then push him up against that chest back there. If done correctly, he shouldn't move up in the water yet. And then we can go ahead and remove this for now. And if we flick this lever, he should get moved into the water and make a full cycle. So he goes up, goes over, and he comes back down, just like that. And that is perfect, and that's exactly where you want to leave him. So next we're going to build the killing system over in the nether dimension. So we're going to go back to the middle portal right here. And we're going to stand right here near the center of the entire farm. We're going to pull up our F3 and we'll look at our coordinates. So for me, it's 316, 216, and 23. And you can see them right here, these 3 digits. What we're going to do is take the first digit and the last digit, we're going to divide them by 8, and we're going to keep the middle digit the same. So 316 divided by 8 is about 40, and 23 divided by 8 is about 3. We're going to nether to coordinates 40, 216, 3. So if we just light this little portal over here and we hop into the nether, it's going to place us underneath of the bedrock, but we need to go up to way above the bedrock. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mine through everything above us until we get to the bedrock ceiling. And then from here, we're going to remove blocks until we find an area where the bedrock is only 1 block thick. You could tell this by looking at the bedrock and looking on the right hand side where it says target block and it says 127 for the Y. That means that this bedrock is only 1 block thick, so you can actually get right through it. You can do this by placing down some ladders right beside this thin bedrock, and you can climb up those ladders, push forward, and aim kind of here near the corner, and click 1 time with Ender Pearl, and keep pushing forward. And then you're up here, and then from here, all you do is jump up and move forward. Now you're on top of the bedrock. So now let's go to those coordinates 40 and 3. Okay, so I found the location. This is 40 and 3. And now we'll stack up all the way to 216Y. Okay, so I stacked all the way up to here. So this block here is going to be the center of our nether portal. And then what we're going to do is kind of build another portal right around this. That's going to be the side of it. We're also going to place the bottom of it right here. And we're going to have Other side right here. And the top's going to be right there. Now when you place in your nether portal, just make sure it's all within inside of one chunk. That's why the chunk borders thing turned on. And you can rotate this portal around this center point here. Now from here, we want to spawn proof the entire portal by placing buttons on all of this side here. We're also going to place buttons underneath of it. And when we do remove the scaffolding, place some there too. Also place buttons on the opposite side. And we'll place some on this side here and this top piece. Now we'll leave this one open because this is where we're going to be killing the shulkers. Now for the killing system, you have two options. You can use suffocation or you can use max cramming. Both of them will work just fine. Just the max cramming takes 24 minecarts, which can be kind of expensive. I'll be showing you this simpler setup that I came up with. So we're going to start out by placing in some chest right here. Then we're going to place in hoppers above those chests. Then a seed pickle, or it can be a daylight sensor, or a candle, or layers of snow, or a flower pot, whichever you have on hand and is the cheapest for you. But it has a very specific height, and that goes right there. Then on top of that, we're going to have a boat. You can just click on the top of that candle or whatever block you're using, and now you got the boat in there. Now what you want to do is ride this boat backwards until you can place in a block in front of you, and then ride the boat forward so you push up against the block they just placed in and try to kind of center the boat. And you can see where the boat is by doing F3 plus B. So that boat is nice and perfect just like there, and then you can remove that block there. And then you come in and we're going to place 2 blocks of soul sand over top of it just like that. And we can finish off by placing in a button right there. If you need more storage for shulker shells, you can always expand upon it. Now we go ahead and light this nether portal here. This really cool setup that I came up with is nice because shulkers will be in the portal. They'll want to leave it, so they'll find this location right here. Once they snap to it, they'll be picked up by the boat, be immediately inside of these soul sand up here, which will cause them to suffocate. Then they will die in about 14 seconds, which is perfectly fine because we can hold 2 of them and they'll die fast enough so the system won't overload. And then they have a 50% chance of dropping shells, which are getting picked up by the hoppers, and will be placed into this chest. So with this side done, just remember to remove your scaffolding blocks so that they're at least 8 blocks away from the portal. So now the nether side is done. You also have the large majority of the overworld side completed. So all we have to do now is get the shulkers into the 2 locations, which isn't going to be that hard at all. I'm going to walk you guys through that part. But before we bring the shulkers over, we want to be ready. Right here where we have our glass platform. Right off of this, we're going to make a railway system that we can bring the shulkers on. And we're going to drop them off right at this location. So we're going to switch out that pressure plate with a block there. We're also going to remove this until we get the shulker in exactly where we want it. We're going to place in a block right here. Then we're going to come in with power rails for all of this. But the very edge right here beside this block, we're going to place in an activator rail. Make sure it is powered. Then we're also going to power all of these blocks as well so that these rails are powered. We're also going to send a shulker off in this direction over here. Bring it over all the way so it lines up with where we're going to place the shulker over there. Then we're going to place in a block for it to bump up against. Then it'll fall down here. And then it will land on the blocks at this level right here. This is the same level as this obsidian. We're going to place in a stopper block right here, and then this is all going to be used to move the shulker in place. Now you can leave this actual railway system in case the shulker ever teleports out, then you'll have it a nice easy system to get another one in here. And for that reason, you can just turn these into top slabs. They won't really have any effect on the failure rate of the farm. And what we're going to do is we're going to place in power rails across this entire thing. We're going to go ahead and power that right there. And this incline one is going to be an activator rail, which we're going to power right here. Then we're going to place in a temporary block right where that string is there. We're just going to break that, place that in, and also remove this. So the shulker will come along. I'll get dismounted, it'll be sitting right here. And then dismounting of entities from carts is directional, so that's why we are building it from that side inward. So that shulker should be good. That rail system's all powered. We'll make sure to put in this rail system here as well, and also have that powered. And then we'll switch this rail after we get that shulker in. We'll move it over to there to get the next one in. You can choose just to bring one shulker over and then split it in order to get 2. But it's probably just as easy to bring a second one over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this rail system all the way to the center of spawn, which is the world spawn point. So I went ahead and took this rail system and continued it with power rails all the way to the world spawn point. We do it up in the air, but just underneath of this block is where we had the sand come in. So if I drop down here, you can see this is where we have it. So anything that comes through it will end up not down here, instead end up way up on top of the block that we placed above it, because they'll choose the highest location that is above the world spawn point. Now when the shulker comes through, it's going to not be in a minecart, so it's going to try to snap to a nearby block. So we're going to remove at least 8 blocks away from there, and we're going to place in slab. That way it doesn't have anywhere to teleport to. And we're also going to switch this block out with a soul sand, which the shulker doesn't like any of the 5 top sides, but only likes the bottom side. So we get that one covered as well. We go ahead and power that. So now we should be ready to grab the shulker. So getting the initial shulker, you need to go to an end city, and it's best to try to find an end city that's near one of these entrance gateway portals, which are produced when you kill the ender dragon. Those will make it really easy to get one into the overworld. So first I would check around the 20 different entrance gateway portals to look for any end cities nearby. So for this one I got lucky, and there's an end city just off in the distance, which is just fine. Even though it's a small one, it has at least 2 shulkers, which is perfect. Otherwise, the next best thing is to find a random gateway portal, which are ones that when you hop through them, they don't take you to the ones that link up with the dragon ones, but instead will take you to the obsidian platform. So either of these are great for moving shulkers. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a rail system that goes between this gateway portal and the end city, which is right over there. So I put in rails from this end city all the way to the nearest gateway portal, which is right over here. And make sure to have enough power rail so it can get over the inclines and put it straight into the portal just like this. Now we'll set up the main end island side, which goes from this portal to the exit end portal. So what I did is I had the rail that's going into this portal the exact same direction as the one that's going out of it. So we're going in facing north, so if we go through this one, when we come out, we're going to be facing north, and this rail system is on the north side. That way the momentum from the minecart that comes from the other side will go through and then jump out to this rail and keep going in the same direction. So with this rail system, I just take it down, cross the main end island, and then turn it, and then take it to the exit end portal. Right here, this is where I have an activator rail. And you put it right down in here like this. That way when they come through on the minecart, they get dismounted. You want them dismount right into that corner right there. And you can even test it yourself. Top of the minecart and go forward. You'll get dismounted and end up in your spawn chunk. So now you're ready to move the shulkers. So let's go all the way to the end city. Now before you get onto end city, you want to make sure you have no armor and drink an invisibility potion. Now you can get close to the shulkers without them seeing you. If you get within 1 block, still be able to see you. So now we can go ahead and grab these guys. We'll just place in some blocks like this, and we'll place in some rails like this and power them. Now when we place in a minecart, it will pick up that guy and it'll send him on his way. And then you could just come along and follow him so that he is in loaded chunks, because he has to go through the main end island. So he's going into the gateway portal just like so, and when he hops out, he goes right on along it. Then he'll go this direction to the exit end portal. Then he'll get dismounted. And then you can go ahead and go into the overworld and follow him. Now he should be way up here by the rail system that you made. Look at that, he's perfectly right there. So now remember to drink another invisibility potion, and you can place in a minecart right by aiming on the side like that, and then you have to make sure you get out of the way. Otherwise you're going to end up stopping the minecart. If it ever does get stuck like this, you can place in a furnace minecart and then give it a coal, and I'll push the shulker. Now the shulker will make its rounds, and it will end up going into the first chamber of the shulker shell farm. So let's watch this thing dismount on this activator rail. It's going to be just like that. And once again, make sure that you're invisible, and then you can get kind of close to this guy. But what we want to do is we want to remove this block here. We also want to remove the minecart in there without hurting the shulker. We then want to place in this glass here. Then we want to remove this one as well as this cobblestone. That'll make them flip that direction. Now we can come in and place in that pressure plate once again down there, and glass right there. And then we can also place in glass right above this guy. Now we should be able to remove this block and place it in again, and you see that makes him flip upside down, and that is exactly how we want him to be. And you can see that there is the wooden pressure plate underneath of him. Now we can come in and place in the lava, and the lava goes right behind that glass there, and you place that piece back in again. It should go down and then over this direction, and that is perfect. Now if you want to, you could just leave this rail system in. It doesn't have to be removed. So now we can get the next shulker in. All we have to do is change out this rail here, make sure it's powered. So now it should go this direction. It should hit that, go down, hit this, go this direction, and then get dismounted by this activator rail and be placed right here. So let's go back to End City and grab that one. So before we grab the next one, make sure to remove the old minecart that's sitting here. So we're back here at the End City. Let's go ahead and grab this guy, place some blocks in, some rails beside him, and power those, and then place in a minecart beside him. That'll pick them up, and that will take them all the way to your spawn chunks. Just make sure to follow him so that the chunks are loaded. And once again, we got the shulker up here ready to be moved. We just got aim right on the edge of where this rail is at. It's kind of hard to click on, but then he is off and going into our farm. So now he automatically turns that direction. He falls down, comes over here, and he gets dismounted right there perfectly. So now what we want to do is we want to remove these blocks here. We also want to remove that minecart, place in this block right here. Then we can remove this block and that block underneath. That'll make them turn sideways. Then we can place our string where we remove that block. Place in that glass block again. Place in this block as well as this one. Then we can remove this block. That'll rotate him again. That is perfectly rotated. Place that block back in again. And now we can come in and place buttons over top of everywhere where we accidentally removed blocks. That way shulkers won't stick to them. So I think there's buttons on all of that. Like I said, if you want to, you can leave this rail system in. In case you run the farm for a long period of time, there's a chance that the shulker will teleport out, and then you can easily resupply it. So now you got the two shulkers in location, and I'll show you guys how you can do the resupply system. So that can be done from this side over here. And what we'll do is we'll just place in some slabs going out just like this, and then we'll place in some rails like that, and then we'll come in with soul sand block right there, and then we'll power this entire thing, and then we'll just place in a minecart on top of these rails. So this is a easy way to have an extra shulker ready to place into the system in case you lose one. The way that this works is that when the shulkers teleport on the side of this, if they happen to teleport right here at this block location, before they get sent over into another portal, they will be able to be picked up by the cart over here, and then they'll just sit right here. And this is far enough away from the center so that doesn't affect the spawn attempts from that guy over there. But if he's ever missing, then it's really easy to stop this and then just switch this out with a curve rail and then set that up the same way and then just send them back in there again. But the chance of the shulker in the center being lost is extremely low. There is two ways that the shulker could leave the center part. The first way being that it doesn't find a location to teleport to when it's trying to split, which is about a 1 in 4 million chance of that occurring, so extremely low. The other way is that it happens to keep hitting itself with a bullet and doesn't split, but instead lowers its health to a point which it can teleport out, which is a little more likely to occur, but still extremely rare. So typically by the time it would happen, you would have so many shulker shells, you wouldn't even know what to do with them all. But in case you would like to continue running the farm, that's what this backup shulker is for. And within the first 2,000 cycles, you should have a shulker sitting here waiting for you to use in case you want to. So with the shulkers in their locations, you can go ahead and light these nether portals. And this is where the shulkers will teleport through, as when they split, they're going to be opened. And when they're open, they're going to have their heads touch the portal and teleport just like that guy did. Plus, they're also going to be mad at the golem over there. So that's another reason why their heads would be open and why they would immediately touch a portal and teleport over into the nether dimension. And that's where we have the killing chamber, which is going to have these guys teleport into this location over here and then get put into the boat and killed for their shells. Now when you guys are using nether portals in the overworld, zombified piglins will spawn in the bottom of them if they are within random tick chunks. That means if they're within 8 chunks of the player. These guys are just like normal hostile mobs, so because you built this so far away from spawn as well as the ground, even if people are like walking around there, the pigmen up here would immediately despawn. So you don't have to worry about them like holding up the mob cap or anything like that. And as long as you're 24 blocks away from them, they will also despawn on their own. So even if this is at your base, you don't have to worry about them sitting in the portal. Now, if you're concerned about the shulkers in here holding up the mob cap, you can't name tag that guy because that guy keeps switching out with the new guy, but you can name tag this guy here. This will prevent him from counting to the mob cap. If you guys seen my mob switch, which can make it so it's almost like peaceful on your server. In that video, I was the first to show that you can use shulkers to prevent other mobs from spawning, as well as using things like withers and ender dragons, and even villager zombies. I'll have those videos linked below if you're curious how that all works, but in case you're running a hostile mob farm, you don't want them to hold up the mob cap, in which case giving them a name tag will prevent that. So now you have all the parts of the farm completed, you can go ahead and make sure that there is no blocks that are close to the farm so that shulkers could snap themselves to, like remove this scaffolding here. And you're ready to go ahead and turn it on. So this is on and off switch right here. And once you turn this on, once you depower this, the golem will fall. He will hit the shulker over there. Then I'll push him over into the water. He'll go up and come back down and make a full cycle. And it looks like everything is working properly. Let's go ahead and check the center part, see if that's working properly as well. The shulker is getting mad because of the other shulker is getting mad. So he also gets mad and he's shooting bullets across and back at himself again. So the only thing we need to do now is place in the lava. The lava will make sure that any kind of stray bullets that are flying around will be removed. Now you can run the farm without the lava, which has a lot higher chance of successfully splitting. But we determined it's about a 1 in 7,000 chance that the shulker will teleport away, which is pretty low. So in case you only want to have a couple thousand shulker shells rather than tens of thousands of them, you can determine if you want to even put in this observer as well as dispenser. But since it's such a kind of minor part, it doesn't really take you that long to build it up. I'd recommend doing it as it will help out a lot. So you go ahead and just place in the lava. I'd recommend placing it in when the farm is turned off. Now we can see the farm at work where the bullet gets shot out of this shulker. It goes down this short corridor and then it tries to go back towards it because there's nowhere really to go. And if it makes the full length and goes back to it and hits it when it's open, then the shulker will split. The old one will teleport away and the new one will be left behind, so it has new amount of health, that way it doesn't die. And the one with low health will end up teleporting and touching these nether portals, sent over into the nether dimension, in which case it will eventually die, producing you shulker shells. Now every time entity goes to another portal, it's going to load the chunks over here. And that reason we don't even need to have a chunk loader to keep the nether dimension loaded. So automatically going to be loaded as entity processing chunks, or automatically be able to hop over here and die without anybody being over here whatsoever. And by having this farm in the spawn chunks will be loaded as long as there is a player in the overworld, in a single player world, or if you're in a server, as long as there's somebody in the overworld, the spawn chunks will be loaded. If the farm is not loaded, I recommend turning it off before unloading it, because there is a chance of it failing, because there's a chance that the lava redstone will desync and cause this shulker here to teleport out. And for that reason, I recommend you having a backup shulker in the minecart over there. Now if the shulker in this minecart is too close to the aggroing one, he can actually shoot out bullets, so it's best to actually have this guy a little bit lower. So I moved the shulker catching area so that it is 2 blocks underneath of that shulker over there. That way he doesn't see the golem over there. And if you want to get him back into the center, you can just connect this railway up with that one there. Now because the golem could attack hostile mobs nearby, be sure to spawn proof the area. That way no mobs will end up being close to the golem for it to attack, because then they could turn around and attack the golem, which would cause the golem to die. So just put in some torches on top of these blocks up here. And now it should be spawn proofed for hostile mobs. Now if you are worried about unloading this at the wrong time, which would cause the lava to flow into the shulker and the shulker teleporting out, I'd recommend not putting in the observer part here, and because of that you shouldn't have to worry about unloading. But there's about a 1 in 7,000 chance that the shulker will leave this position if you don't use the lava system. Remember to have buttons all the way around this centerpiece right here. And the reason why I don't use soul sand on this is that soul sand has a small gap at the top of it, even though it's not visible. The shulkers can very rarely actually attempt to shoot a bullet through there. And despite the shulker shell's bullet looking quite large, the actual size of it that the game keeps track of is almost infinitely small. And this allows it to actually sneak through the soul sand in the same way that wither skeleton skulls can sneak through small gaps without actually hitting any of the edges. And 'tis awesome looked into the Minecraft code to explain this weird behavior. And that's why I don't have any small gaps inside of this area here. So the main way that the farm is working is this system over here. It's kind of a clock. What happens is the golem shoots the shulker, he opens up, he touches a pressure plate. This does a redstone signal after a short delay, which goes over here and moves the golem up really high. When the golem goes really high up in the air, the shulker there will no longer be mad at him. He'll just think of the golem as being too far away, so he can't be mad at it. So he will close his head, and this will create one cycle. And we do need him to open and close. That way the center shulker here will also re-aggro each time. Now the slowest thing about this farm is the path that this bullet has to take. The bullet has to go down and back. So this time here, plus the time to also remove any extra bullets. And on top of that, the time it takes for the golem to go up and down again. This turns out to be 8 seconds, and this is how long it takes to do an entire cycle. So each cycle will have the chance of him shooting a bullet out. There's about a 75% chance that he will hit himself when he's open and split, which produces that extra shulker. The extra shulker, when it dies, has a 50% chance of dropping a shell. So on average, you get about 170 shells per hour with a single cell like this. Now, because this farm doesn't depend on the player or anything special, you can tile this farm as much as you want, just like you would like a sugarcane farm or like a melon farm. You can make them as big as you want to get the rates that you want. And in the future, I will be showing you how you can have multiple of these cells for just a single aggroing system. Look forward to that, and make sure you guys are subscribed with the bell notification turned on. If you want to learn more how this farm works, check out my previous shulker shell farm, which goes into a lot more detail. If you'd like to see more simple farms, I've designed a farm for almost every item in the game, and you can check that out with this playlist here. Or if you'd like to learn about weird glitches that I discovered, check out this playlist here. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!